Wednesday, September 25th. In London, Prime Minister Winston Churchill decides to put an end to Operation Menace, the landing of Anglo-French troops at Dakar. After some days fighting between British and Vichy French ships, the battleship Richelieu has managed to inflict serious damage on the old British battleship Resolution and on the cruiser Cumberland. The Royal Navy ships withdraw towards Sierra Leone. Vichy French planes bomb the British base at Gibraltar, while the RAF continues to drop bombs on Tobruk, and the ships of the Royal Navy bombard Sidi Barrani in Libya. In Berlin, Hitler orders that Spanish Republican prisoners held in jails in Germany and the occupied countries should be deprived of prisoner of war status and sent to concentration camps. In the Battle of Britain, the Luftwaffe keeps up its night and daytime bombing. The attacks focus on London and on the industry, railways and Port of Dover, Folkestone, Southampton, Hastings, Newhaven, Brighton, and Bristol. For its part, the RAF carries out bombing raids during the night against the ports of Ostende, Calais, Boulogne, Cherbourg, and Le Havre. In addition, they attack Berlin for 5 consecutive hours, terrorizing the population. Roosevelt's government announces new aid measures to Chiang Kai-shek in his fight against the Japanese. In the Sea War, U-29, commanded by Otto Schuhart, sinks the British merchant ship Eurymedon. U-32, captained by Hans Jenisch, destroys the Marbeton, and U-43, commanded by Wilhelm Ambrosius, sinks the Celeria. Thursday, September 26th. In the United States, Wendell Willkie, the Republican opposition candidate in the American elections, declares in his first campaign speech that the loss of the British fleet would be a disaster for the United States. In the Battle of Britain, the Germans continued to bomb London and the towns and cities of southern England. The ports of Plymouth, Portland, and Southend are the hardest hit. The RAF bombs Berlin and Kiel. Hitler holds a meeting with Grand Admiral Raeder to analyze the situation. Raeder wants the Vichy government to help defeat the British before the Americans enter the war. He believes the priority should be to take Gibraltar rather than the Canary Islands. He also highlights the need to support the Italians in order to gain the control of the Suez Canal and advance through the Middle East to Turkey. Once we are there, we can consider the possibility of war against Russia, he says. An impatient Hitler ends up accepting the Mediterranean strategy and decides to hold meetings with Pétain, Franco, and Mussolini in the coming months. He will then take a final decision. On the North African front, Italian planes bombed the aerodrome of El Daba in Egypt. In the war at sea, since fighting broke out, German submarines have sunk more than 3 million tons of Allied shipping and continue to inflict losses in their efforts to blockade the British Isles. Friday, September 27th. In Berlin, in the hall of the new Chancellorship building, the foreign ministers of Germany and Italy, Ribbentrop and Ciano, and the Japanese ambassador, Kurusu, signed the Tripartite Pact. The 3 countries form an industrial and political military alliance with the aim of establishing a new order in Europe and Asia. They also promise cooperation in the case one of them being attacked by an enemy country. Their common enemy is Britain, which, although it is not in direct conflict with Japan, stands in the way of Japanese ambitions in Asia and the Pacific. The pact is also aimed at intimidating the United States, dissuading it from helping Britain and putting pressure on them to stay out of the war. Von Ribbentrop declares that the agreement between the three nations lays the foundations for the reorganization of Europe and Asia. Count Ciano believes the pact will foster political, economic, and military cooperation. The Foreign Minister of Japan, Matsuoka, warns the British that the pact blocks any possibility of friendship between the two powers and expresses his hope that the war will be limited to Europe. In the Battle of Britain, the Luftwaffe bombs the central and southern regions of England during the day and attacks London, Liverpool, and Birkenhead during the night. Houses are reduced to rubble and air fights rage in the skies. Meanwhile, the British continue to raid the base of Kiel and the ports of northern Europe. Saturday, September 28th. In Washington, President Roosevelt, at an official function at a new airfield, declares that the plane has become the most important weapon of war. The United States has 50,000 pilots, he states, and the numbers keep rising at a rate of 2,000 every month. At a press conference, Sumner Welles, American Undersecretary of State and a close advisor of the President, condemns the Tripartite Pact between Italy, Japan, and Germany. At the same time, the House of Representatives passes a law increasing the defense budget. The total figure adds up to $3,000 million. A new contingent of destroyers leased by America arrives in Britain. Following the failure in Dakar in Senegal, the British and American press questioned de Gaulle's leadership of the Free French forces. In Germany, Hitler meets the Italian Foreign Minister Count Ciano to discuss the situation in North Africa. Meanwhile, the battleship Bismarck docks at the naval base of Gotthafen, Gdynia, in Poland. In Nazi-occupied France, the authorities of the Third Reich order that all Jews must have their ethnic identity stamped on their papers and register at police stations. In North Africa, British aircrafts bomb Solom in Egypt and Berbera in Somalia, while the Italians carry out raids against Haifa in Palestine in the Middle East. In the Sea War, U-32, commanded by Hans Jenitsch, sinks the British merchantman Empire Ocelot. Victor O'Hearn's U-37 sinks the Argentine vessel George Mabro, and U-31, captained by Wilfrid Prellberg, destroys the Norwegian ship Vestberg. Sunday, September 29th. In London, Winston Churchill says in a speech, it was 2 years to the day that the Munich Pact was signed. When victory is achieved, Britain will not recognize German conquests, he states. He also guarantees the Czechoslovakian government in exile in Britain that once the conflict is over, they will receive all the help necessary to re-establish the freedom and unity of their country.
Led them to such a plight, if after all this...
In the Battle of Britain, there is no let-up in the Luftwaffe's bombing. London, Liverpool, Edinburgh, and other major British cities are hit. In retaliation, the RAF carries out consecutive raids over Germany and attacks Bremen, Frankfurt, Cologne, Hamburg, and the airfields at Bassenheim and Magdeburg, as well as military facilities in the Netherlands and ports on the coasts of Northern Europe. In Berlin, Heinrich Himmler orders all men from the SS and other security forces to watch the film Jude Sus, Sus the Jew. On the African front, the British bomb Bardia, Derna, and the Djaraboub oasis in Libya and Sollum in Egypt, while violent clashes take place all along the Kenyan border with Italian Somaliland, to the east of Wajir, and in the hinterland of Lake Rudolph. In the Battle of the Atlantic, U-32, under the orders of Commander Hans Jenisch, sinks the British merchant vessel Bassa. Monday, September 30th. The German bombing of British cities is less intense, though waves of enemy planes continue to attack London and southeast England. This month, nearly 7,000 people have been killed by bombs dropped by the Luftwaffe. For its part, the RAF keeps up the pressure with raids on Berlin, Hanover, the aircraft factories of Rottenburg, and munitions factories in Magdeburg, communications, ports, and fuel tanks in Belgium and Holland. After his visit to Berlin, the Spanish minister Serrano Suñer arrives in Rome to meet with Mussolini to clarify any doubts about Spain's non-belligerent status in the war. Suñer declares that Spain is on the verge of entering the Axis. In Moscow, Stalin's government expresses its dissatisfaction with the Japanese-Italian-German alliance, the Tripartite Pact, and demands an explanation from Hitler. The alliance places the Soviet Union between two fronts, and Stalin also disagrees with German policies in the Balkans. The situation increases his mistrust of the Nazi leader. In Africa, the British bomb Tobruk in Libya, the airfield of Massaoua in Eritrea, and Berbera in Somalia. In northern China, customers of British banks are threatened and forced to put their money in Japanese banks. Japan intends to damage British commercial interests in the area. In the naval war, U-37, commanded by Victor O'Hearn, sinks the freighters Hemage and Samala.